What's going on, guys? This is Foresight Capital, and today we're going to take a look at three stocks that ARK Invest has sold nearly 100% of their holdings of over the past couple of trading days. ARK Invest is known for having ETFs that return over 40% annually since their inception, and some of them have over 100% returns year to date. So they're very well known for investing in highly performing stocks, and when they're selling off a large portion of a stock, it's important to pay attention because the tide may be turning for that stock. So if you own any of these individually, or if you were thinking about investing in them, you may want to continue doing your due diligence. All that I ask is that if this video brings you value, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing because it really helps this channel reach more people. And today we're going to be taking a look at these stocks through lucidtracking.com. Now, I don't have an affiliation with lucidtracking.com, but I think it's a very great website to follow ARK Invest buying and selling operations. You can find most of this information for free on ARK Invest's website, but it's very nicely laid out on Lucid Tracking. So the very first stock that we're going to take a look at is ticker symbol TRU for Transunion. Transunion is one of the big three credit reporting agencies for the United States, and we can see that ARK Invest has been growing a very large position in Transunion over the past couple of months. They've gone from just about 40,000 shares back at the beginning of August to over 160,000 shares just the week before Christmas, and have recently sold nearly all of those shares to now having just a 1,000 share position. Now, they were registering overbought on the RSI, and if we take a look back here at TD Ameritrade and pull up the chart, we can see that they reached one-year highs today at $102.80 per share before selling off in the afternoon hours to about $99.04 per share, down just about 2%. Now, some of this may be attributed to ARK Invest's selling actions, and some of it may be that they're overextended from their moving averages. So we can see here that the 50-period moving average is back at $91.88 per share, and the 200-period moving average is $84.40 per share. So we're trading a very long ways away from the longer term moving averages, and that means that we've got a lot of downside potential on this stock. Now, ARK Invest selling off nearly 164,000 shares worth of this stock also means that they probably think the tide is going to turn and that the stock is going to have a little bit of a downtrend. Realistically, I could see us falling back to the 50-period moving average to about 91, or potentially even down to some support levels at about $90 per share, or if the sell-off got really extended all the way back to the 200-period moving average, which is currently sitting at some support levels at about $83 per share. So there's a lot of downside potential for this stock if you believe in stocks trading near the moving averages, and it looks like ARK Invest is taking some off of the table. Now, keep in mind that they've been buying since mid-August, and at that time the stock was trading around 83, so they've got some very nice returns over the past couple of trading months. But just in looking at the fact that they've sold nearly 100% of their position in TransUnion over the past couple of trading days, very telling that potentially the tide is turning for TransUnion, and that you might look, if you're looking to purchase the stock or if you own it in an individual fashion. So the next stock that we're going to take a look at here is Interactive Brokers, ticker symbol IBKR. Now, for some of you who trade actively, you may actually use Interactive Brokers as your broker. They're a trading brokerage that allows you to buy individual stocks, ETFs, options, and even trade on margin, which a lot of people love. They've got a great platform. It's more for intermediate traders, but as we can see here, ARK Invest has been buying a very substantial amount of shares of Interactive Brokers over the past couple of months. Now, it's interesting because they actually sold off a fair portion of their shares back towards the beginning of September. So we saw them shave their position from 230,000 shares down to about 139 before ultimately building it back up to about 320,000 shares as of December 18th, and then selling off those shares subsequently down to 150,000 total shares, so basically cutting the position in half. Now, same thing here, Interactive Brokers is trading in the overbought territory, And if we pull them up here on TD Ameritrade, we can see that they actually set a 1-year high today. So ARK Invest has been selling off since about the 18th, and that's actually when they reached this little bit of a double top on the 1-year high around $60 per share and had a bit of a sell-off. And ARK Invest has continued selling operations even despite the fact that Interactive Broker is breaking out to 1-year highs. So that could mean yet again that they think that we're going to have a bit of a pullback, or that the upside is potentially limited and want to reallocate that capital. If we take a look, we're very overextended from even the 9-period moving average. There isn't really a whole lot of price action support, probably until about the $53 per share range, and that's right in line with the 50-period moving average at about $53.14, so basically a $9 decrease in price there. And there's also some very firm support back at the $48 per share range, but obviously that's about $14 per share decrease from current price action. So potentially ARK Invest is thinking that Interactive Brokers has kind of run out of steam and is going to start having a bit of a pullback sometime in the future, and wanted to reallocate that capital while locking in gains. So keep in mind they've cut their position in half for Interactive Brokers. And the last stock that I want to take a look at here is ticker symbol WORK, which is actually Slack Technologies. And we can see that they've had an interesting past couple of trading days because they've been very flat. And then we can see here that over the past couple of months, ARK Invest had a very sizable position in Slack Technologies, going from about 2 million shares all the way up to a high of over 4.5 million shares before selling them off very expeditiously. And over the past couple of days have reduced their holdings to 0 in Slack Technologies from about 4.5 million shares at the end of November. So in a 1-month trading period, or actually even less than 1-month trading period, they've reduced their shares from over 4.5 million in Slack Technologies all the way down to 0. If we pull up the chart here for Slack, we can see that they had a very sizable run up towards the end of November. And that's when ARK Invest started selling at around the $44 per share range, and since then have just been consolidating with basically no daily movement. Now, potentially they see a little bit of a cliff forming here, or a bear flag, because we've got this big extension in the price and then some consolidation. And since we're not really setting highs and haven't for quite some time, I could see a bit of a pullback in this stock as well. This one's got a long way to fall. Realistically, the next level of support is around 33, or potentially the 50-period moving average at around 34, and then the next level of support below that is 30. So that's almost a 30% reduction back to the 200-period moving average, which is very substantial downside. And I think that ARK Invest is seeing that, seeing where they've made a substantial profit. And again, lucid tracking actually just started near the mid of August, so we can't see exactly when they started buying, but even since the beginning of August, or the middle part of August, they've gone from about $28 per share to $44. So potentially ARK Invest wants to protect their profits for what looks to be a long downside potential with very limited upside. Now, we are setting new highs over the past couple of trading days, so we don't exactly know where the high is for this stock, but just looking at the downside potential, it looks like ARK may be looking to take some of that risk off of the table and selling 100% of their shares of Slack Technologies. So that's just 3 stocks that ARK Invest has been selling a large, if not all, of their portion of shares of. Let me know in the comments which of these stocks you're mostly avoiding and which you would actually be most interested in buying if we saw a big pullback in the price. Just kind of wanted to bring those out in the light because it's ones that you may want to stay away from, or at least do more due diligence on in the future. Thanks for watching in the end. Don't forget to subscribe if the video brought you value. I'm going to continue covering ARK investments in the future, both buying and selling activities. Thanks for stopping by, and catch you in the next one.